Proverbs chapter 31 and in verse 10. Last week we started this section off from verse 10, and we'll just read this again. This is the last section of Proverbs, and it is the virtuous wife is this section, and it goes from verse 10 all the way to the end of the book at verse 31. And it starts off with a question: who can find a virtuous wife? Which one could come to a conclusion that's a difficult thing to do. One could come to that conclusion. But it's a matter of can you be one? Will you be willing to be one? But this is the question of beginning this section. And we spoke concerning this next part: for her worth is far above rubies, and what makes her valuable? That she is virtuous. That is what makes her of any value at all, any real lasting value. And this particular section is the antithesis of feminism. Complete antithesis. This is, all right, and here's just a quick little trivia question for you. All right, the following quote, who is responsible for this quote? Here is the quote: well-behaved women seldom make history. Who's responsible for that quote? Who said that? Does anybody know? I didn't. I had to go look it up. And I've seen it as bumper stickers or variations on that, of well-behaved women seldom make history. Well, it has been through time, and of course, who knows who all has repeated it. It has been thought that it came from Gloria Steinem. It didn't. From Marilyn Monroe. I mean, they may have said it, but it didn't. Also, that it may have come from Eleanor Roosevelt. That actually predates all of them. It actually is from the writing of Cotton Mather, who was a Puritan, and that's a he. And by the way, he was okay with hanging witches. he was a Puritan, and he well believed in witchcraft. But this whole idea of the way it is used today. Now, the way he used it is not the way it's being recycled. That's not the way it's being recycled at all. What he meant was that well-behaved women are, in fact, not seeking attention, not seeking the spotlight, not just going about humbly. And what's wrong with that? That would seem to be what Christ wants us all to do. That would be what Christ wants any of us to do. But only a narcissist would rather be infamous than anonymous. Only a narcissist would want that, because that's what it's coming down to. Well-behaved women seldom make history. Well, first off, that's not true, because there's what is the idea of truly making history, or is the idea of just being put in history books? Because you can't have humanity without women, right? Which means you cannot have human history without women. It's impossible. You can't have whatever explorer, whatever general, whatever king, whatever. They all have mothers. They all have wives. They have sisters. They have had plenty who have been around them and have in their formidable years, or in the earliest of their years, they are influenced by their mother. But thinking of someone who just wants to be remembered in history and would rather be notorious just for that sake, all right, that is a sociopath. I'm sorry, that's what that is. A narcissist. That is Harris and Klebold. That's precisely what they wanted when they went to go shoot up the high school at Columbine. That's precisely what they wanted. They knew they were not going to survive the day. They knew it. They didn't care about surviving the day. But they did want to be on the evening news that day. That's what they wanted. And to go out in this blaze of infamy. And, well, okay, if that's what you want, that's easily done. All right? Anybody can behave badly. Anybody can treat everyone else in the worst sort of way. Anybody can do that. Anybody can tempt others. Anybody can just do evil. Anybody can do that. But if we look at verse 28 in this, here is what doesn't happen to the infamous person, to the infamous wife in this. Verse 28, chapter 31, her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. That doesn't happen because she has neglected them all. On her aspirations, on her way to greatness, on her way to whatever it is, they are neglected, they are left behind in the wake of whatever she's trying to do. That is, her children will not rise up and call her blessed. Her husband will not be praising her because she wasn't part of them. She wasn't there at all. Now, we come back to this idea of the virtuous wife. And here we could go bit by bit over what makes her virtuous. And you're going to see as we go along that it's one thing after another that she is showing in her character that she does have virtue. And the first one mentioned in this is being trustworthy. She does him good. Where are we? Yes, verse 11. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. He doesn't have to spend any time wondering what she's up to. He doesn't have to spend any time as to wondering what kind of trouble she's involved in. I remember years ago having a neighbor, and his wife, as far as we were concerned, his wife got along with us, but there were women down the street. She didn't get along with them at all. And there was friction going on. And he did not know what she might say, what she might do. And there were things going on that we would get bits and pieces of. And he couldn't really trust her in this respect. Other things I'm sure he could. But here he safely trusts her because this is a trusted partnership. This is where you have two people and he knows her heart, he knows her character, he knows what she's capable of doing, and all of it is trustworthy. Every bit of it. He trusts her with her children. He trusts her with her side of the marriage. He trusts her with the finances. He trusts her with whatever. And he will have no lack of gain. Now understand, don't think that this is a one-side relationship, because if he has no lack of gain, that means she has no lack of gain either. That she is, and don't think that somehow he's just sitting doing nothing, because we're going to see she married a good man. Okay, we could look at someone like Abigail, how she married Nabal, I have no idea. But Abigail and her husband Nabal are two completely different people. And while she does have virtue to her, and she does have sense about her, and she can know that the foolishness of Nabal is going to kill them all. And here, in what is being described here, is she has in fact married a very good man. Now, this is focusing on her, not on him. All right, well, why don't we have a section focusing on him? Well, we sort of been focusing on him and everyone else for the rest for the book. But here is focusing on the importance of this side of the marriage, and it's also describing marriage in general. That she is trustworthy, and here is this partnership, and this is and she does all of this out of love. Everything being described here is done out of love. If there is no love, there can be no virtue. That's all there is to it. With absent love, there is no virtue. And just go read 1 Corinthians chapter 13. All right? She does this because she loves her husband and she loves her children. She loves her family. She loves her home. And she is part of taking care of it. And she is the heart of that home. That's who she is. That's what she's been designed to be. He is the defender. He is the breadwinner, though she can definitely contribute to it. It's his responsibility to see to it that there is bread in the house. It is his responsibility first that is to be done. What she does is showing she has initiative and not selfish, but she is thoroughly helping that home, but it's done entirely out of love, and so should he be doing this entirely out of love. Now we can see the complete opposite by other Proverbs. Proverbs 2, beginning in verse 16, you have the immoral woman being described there. 14:1, you have the foolish woman. You have the contentious and angry woman. That's in 21:9 and 19, 25:24, 27:15. Okay, you also have the adulterous woman, especially in chapter 7, verse 6. You have the hateful woman. Now, none of these are virtuous. Here is the one who is being described. She's not immoral. She's not foolish. She's not contentious. That doesn't mean that there aren't disagreements, because I thoroughly believe in any healthy, and you may disagree with me, and it's okay, any healthy relationship between two human beings, there's going to be differences. It's just going to exist. That just automatically, from the male perspective and the female perspective, you're going to get differences. Then you have personalities thrown on both sides, and there's differences there. And they were raised in different ways by different mothers. There's going to be differences there. All right? But this idea of contentious is one who is always argumentative and angry and always causing a problem and always wanting things a certain way and can never be pleased. That's what you get. Now, so she, verse 12. Now, he can safely trust her. Verse 12, why can he trust her? Because she does him good and not evil all the days of her life. She does that. And she she has a love that is going to truly be to the end. It's not just empty promises that are made. It's not just being floating around in a romantic idea that soon drifts away and reality hits and then it all crashes down. This is someone she is going to have this lifelong commitment as described here. All the days of her life. Well, we can switch around to he does her good and not evil all the days of his life. That is the way it's supposed to be as well. This is describing truly for better or for worse. And also a love that until death do we part. And life doesn't just give good days and sunshine and enjoyment. Life, you don't know what it's going to give, really. My brother, who's about to retire supposedly, he has said that for several years now, who's supposed to be retiring, he just told me yesterday that his ideas, the things that he wanted to do when retired, he realizes now he can't do them. All right, that's the way life has turned out. You just don't know what the future is going to hold. You can think of something always being golden and beautiful sunsets and all these things, but that may not happen. And when you're talking about inside a family, you're talking about several lives there all together, and whose love is going to keep this through the thick and the thicker still. Who is going to do it? It's going to have to be husband and wife together. It's going to have to be. And this is doing him good and not evil all the days of her life and all the days of his life as well. You can put that down. And that there will be times when it's not convenient. There will be times when it's his health and she's got to take care of him now. Or it's her health and he has to take care of her now. That this is required. That the one you married is going to need you in the worst of times as well as the great times. You know, when things are great, they don't really need you then so much. They need you, but they don't need you so much. They don't need you out of desperation. When things are bad, that's when you've got to click into action. And it's not selfishness, it's not selfish ambition or just this is too much for me. That it is steadily being there for your husband or for your wife. All right? This is the length of it, all the days of her life. She is doing that. Now, we come to verse 13. She seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands. All right? Now, we can look at verse 27 and hang on. We can see where that wool and flax went. 24 actually. She makes linen garments and sells them and supplies sashes for the merchants. That's where the wool and flax went. Yeah, the linen garments, that's the flax. I guess the sashes are the wool. But that's where those went. But she is industrious. She shows that of personal initiative. It's not selfishness. It is personal initiative, and she works out of love for her home. Once again, having to repeat that. This is for the benefit of her home, not the benefit for her advantage, not the benefit just for her to make a name for herself or for her to see how important she can be, or to whatever competition she may have or whatever she thinks she needs to accomplish, that actually is on a selfish bent. This is working with her hands, and it is for her home because it's love. Now, with this personal initiative, she's not self-centered. It's not personal idleness. It is her actually doing things, and she has it in her mind what she's going to do, and that's what she does, and it's for the benefit of her home. Now, verse 14, she is like a merchant ship. She brings her food from afar. Now, for the sake of it, I think last week I might have said that we are getting to some lasts in this, and we've already passed some. I didn't mention it, but I will here. This is the last simile in the book, in case you're wondering. This is the last one. Like a merchant ship. She is compared to a merchant ship. She brings her food from afar. All right, what does that mean? Well, she is providing for her home, and she does what it takes to provide for everybody. That's that she, in that respect, she is like a merchant ship, which, by the way, would also, as though we needed to know this, but this also is an understanding that, someone like Solomon or someone like King Lemuel, well aware of merchant ships. Merchant ships were a thing in the Mediterranean and from other areas too, coming in from such as the Indian Ocean, coming into the Red Sea. That you have merchant ships that are just coming from various places. And she brings her food from afar. She knows what she's after. She knows what she has to get, and that's what she does. And this is for as long as it needs to be done. As long as she can do it. Verse 15, she also rises while it is yet night, so she's not lazy. As she knows that these things need to get done, and provides food for her household. So that goes back to bringing food from afar. She provides food for her household, and notice, not just that, and portions for her maidservants. So this is providing for everyone in her household. And this is not just for herself, not selfish ambitions. This is taking care of everyone because everyone needs to be taken care of. She is the one that is willing to do this. And we've got a generation, and it sounds like just an old man complaining about younger people, but we do have a generation that are incredibly selfish. Incredibly. And there were people that I grew up with that were selfish. But there's no doubt about that. But it just seems to me, maybe it's just more apparent to me, that more and more and more are just very selfish people. And any promise, any vow they may make doesn't mean a lot at all. I mean, they may feel it, they may think it, they may truly believe what they're saying, but they don't have the wherewithal or they don't have the fortitude to actually bring it about and the patience to bring it about, which is exactly what this requires. And as we go through this life, we do gain skills, we do gain patience, provided we are using those skills, providing that we are showing patience. You have to show patience to grow in it. and which requires situations where you have to be patient. Someone who is nothing but a fair-weathered friend is someone that's just avoiding problems, and when someone else needs it and doesn't want to have to actually be loving, doesn't actually want to be there when things are going bad, but when things go bad, all right, I'm gone. I'm gone. So she rises when it's still nighttime, provides for her household, portions to her maidservants. And now we go to verse 16. She considers a field and buys it. From her profits she plants a vineyard. So here is foresight. This is also, she considers, that's being prudent. That's forethought brought into this. That she's looking at it, how she could use it. Is it worth using? Is this something that is worth buying? Is this it? She considers it, buys it, and plants a vineyard. Okay, might I throw in right here that planting a vineyard also takes patience? That isn't something that you plant in the spring and by mid-June you're harvesting grapes. That doesn't happen. That is grapes or vineyards take years to cultivate before they produce any fruit. And if my memory serves me correctly, that's about 4 years right there just to get your first fruit for anything to be occurring. And that could be delayed depending on the land, depending on the weather, something like that. But the whole thing is that this does require some consideration. This does require a long-term commitment in this and patience involved in it. She knows what she can do and is looking not just for the current pleasurable thing, not for the most convenient thing, but looking for down the line in all this. Now, she girds herself with strength and strengthens her arms. So she girds herself with strength. That's nothing but sheer determination is what that is. That is diligence and determination. That she is willing to do this. She girds herself with strength. Requires the willingness to do that. All right, it doesn't just is at a snap and things are done. And going back to what we've already seen concerning the vineyard, concerning the fact that she is taking care, making sure everyone is taken care of, which is also diligence in and of itself. But she has a determination that she is doing this, and whatever it takes, that's what she's going to do. She strengthens her arm. And so with this determination, may not be so strong today, but tomorrow, the next day, and the next day, slowly getting stronger. And the determination getting stronger in this. And this determination or this diligence grows. And with all of this, she is showing virtue in every bit of this. And I just as a side note of with some folks they've redefined strength, I guess, in believing themselves to be strong and then complain about the least little thing. As you are contradicting what you think you happen to be. you are contradicting. You would say that you are somehow strong. And I'm not sure their definition of strength anyway. It's got to be different. And the least little thing is like, oh, this is the end of life, or how horrible, I can't believe that. And the fact is that billions of other people have had to go through the same thing. Billions of other people going through the same thing, and somehow it's a special case with you. Somehow it's a special case. But now we continue on. Verse 18, she perceives that her merchandise is good, and her lamp does not go out by night. So she is not among the lazy. And she has skill now that whatever her merchandise happens to be, you have the sashes and the linen garments in verse 24. But of course, we're not talking about a specific woman. This is a category. And whatever her merchandise is, she has grown in the skill of it. And she perceives that it is good. She knows, she has the wisdom to know that what she produces is just as good as anybody else's in town, or perhaps even better. She knows that. And because she has been at it, she knows that it is, you're not going to find a better one around. And because she's producing just as good as anybody else, and she knows the worth of it. She knows the worth. And the only way to get to that point is that next line, and her lamp does not go out by night. It's not mastered quickly. It requires time, and it requires patience. And it requires a love in continuance to make something better and your skill better. Now, coming down into this, she stretches out her hands to the distaff, and her hand holds the spindle. So here is this this is hands on. Hands-on diligence of she is doing this. It's not just that she's delegating it to somebody else or hiring somebody else to do it. She is actively involved in all this. In what is this? This would be weaving, is what this is, and holds the spindle means that she is spinning thread. You can't get much more basic than that in the process. And if it's going to be linen, you got to get the flax. You've got to beat the flax. Then when you get all the fine fibers have to be made into thread. That's what's being described here. And if you're talking about wool, it's the same process. Or if you're talking about cotton or silk, it's the same process that you have to go. It's not that she's going and buying the cloth. She's making the thread to make the cloth. So this is as basic as it gets, and she knows what she's doing is of very good quality. Now comes the next bit in this, and that she has a benevolent side to her. It's not that she's just successful at what she does and she's just living for herself or just selfishly. She extends her hand to the poor. Yes, she reaches out her hands to the needy. That she is not without sympathy and compassion, and that she has enough to where she can help the poor. She can do that. And that, let me just add this as well, that everything we are describing or that is being described here, is voluntary. Every bit of it is voluntary. She volunteered to do this. No one is making her do any of these things. She does it because she is showing virtue. She has chosen virtue. And she's not living her life in idle pleasure. She's not living her life looking for the next kind of luxurious item. She's not doing that. She is, or just selfish ambitions. She is doing this for her home, for those who work for her, because it mentions her handmaidens, or maidservants rather. She is doing this also for the needy. She's doing this, actively doing this, and completely voluntary. Talk about being able to trust this one. Yeah, you can. You can trust this woman. You can trust her in doing whatever. Now, with a wicked man like Nabal, we've already mentioned Abigail and Nabal. Abigail does what Nabal should have done, what Nabal would never have done. And when he finds out she did it, and it happened to be showing some sympathy toward David and his men. Matter of fact, showing not only sympathy, but showing gratitude for David and his men, that Nabal, well, really, I think that's the shock that killed him. Just that he was such a foolish person. He was a miserly sort of individual, but beyond that, unreasonable sort of person, completely unreasonable. You couldn't talk to him. But with this, her husband, a good man, that's what I'm referring to, a good man will not stop her from doing this, and that is giving to the poor. A good man is not going to stop her from doing this. And a good man will also know that she doesn't have to be told to do it either. She's going to do it, and because it's good. It is the sympathetic thing to do, and helping others. Now, verse 21. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. Now, we could go back to that of the ant. That go to the ant, you sluggard. That the ant is, through the summer, is gathering up food for winter. Or the ant does that. Well, she has learned that. I don't think she had to go to the ant to learn this, but it's that idea of foresight that winter is coming, winter is going to arrive, it's going to get colder, everybody's going to need the right clothing for this, the blankets, and she is prepared for it. I remember a friend of mine years ago, and he was talking about his dad. He said they had to, for heat, they had a fireplace. They didn't have heat otherwise, but they had a fireplace. And he said that his dad never, ever went and cut wood for the fireplace until they needed the fireplace going. When it got cold, I mean, it's already gone to frost. When it got cold and they had to have it, that's when they would go and cut wood for the fireplace. Well, that's a tad late. That's a bit late. It's going to get cold. You know it. And she's prepped for it, and that is all part of foresight, which doesn't take a whole lot. And not downplaying anything that she has done. She's not afraid of snow. She's not afraid of wintertime because she knows that's covered. She's got it. And there's simply because she is diligent. All right, we will continue this. I thought I could get through it today, but we'll continue this next week. And thank you, everybody.